This weekend, we travel quite some distance to go see America's first ever national park. And though we are traveling for 4 days in total, only one day will be spent exploring one of the most vast parks I have ever laid eyes on. My name is Trey, and welcome to our RV travel channel. Today is August 30th, and we pack it up and officially leave the state of Washington, where we have spent the past 2.5 months and most of summer to head on to our hip camp for the weekend down in a place called Cody, Wyoming, which Jess and I have never heard of before and have no idea what to expect. But with the late start on the road, we know we will be driving late into the night and plan on staying at a rest stop somewhere in Montana. And the drive from Spokane to Missoula is definitely a beautiful one. I had no idea Coeur d'Alene was such a gorgeous area. Jess, it has been a minute since we have been on the road at night. Like, we normally get there by 4 p.m. and we've been pretty good about that, but we left at like 4 today. After a 5-hour drive day, we finally make it down to the Bearmouth rest stop eastbound right off of I-90. And so far, it's full of truckers and a few other RVers. Though I'm not sure if we can bring our slides out. We're gonna try to, just so we can get everything and get in and sleep tonight, so the dogs have room. But everybody else that I see doesn't have their slides out. And surprisingly, the rest stop really isn't that bad. I was kind of, I don't really stay at rest stops. I think we've only stayed at one other, and I was a little, not nervous, but just a little skeptical of staying at a rest stop. But I knew we were gonna get here a little late at night on a Friday night, so I didn't want to spend the money on like a hip camp or any RV campground. And the main noise is just coming from the highway. The guys in the trucks, they're fine. They got the priority for this spot anyways. But you can hear a little bit of the generator. So I see why RV campgrounds require like these ultra whisper quiet generators. But other than that, no, it's fine, honestly. It's a little after midnight, so we're past our bedtime right now. And after a little research, I was able to find where it's perfectly legal and normal to take out your slides at a rest stop. Just make sure the slides are still within the lines and don't unhitch. But to get to RV level, we did end up unhitching, but we kept the truck in place so we didn't take up any unnecessary space. Also, we filled up the freshwater tank halfway before leaving, and we got to take a nice warm shower. The sun came up way too fast for Jess and I, but this place served its purpose. We got a good night's rest with a few truckers stopping by, which was a little bit loud as they took off, but I will say this rest stop in particular is nicer than anything we had back home on the East Coast, which is why I believe I was a little skeptical at first. And now that we've had a chance to recharge, it's time to take in the slides, hitch back up, and make our way back down to Cody, Wyoming, which is going to take us about a 7 to 9 hour drive RV time. We started the day out strong, but you can never make it too far without having to stop and get gas and a little something to eat. And I gotta say, gas is a lot cheaper in Montana, which fortunately works in our favor. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see all these bugs? I literally just washed this thing off. Oh. Which we didn't find anything appetizing at this spot, so we ended up going a few miles down to a Starbucks for some coffee and some breakfast croissants. For Jessica? It's you?
That's me.
Little one.
You didn't get no sleeps?
They didn't give them to me. I had to
You didn't ask for any?
No, I had to force myself for the little stoppers. Huh?
Why didn't
Because
you?
I'm a shy person and I don't like bothering people.
So you need me to show up for you?
Yeah. And a few hours of driving later, we finally start seeing Yellowstone signs and cross over into the beautiful state of Wyoming, which leads us back into the desert scene Jess and I have missed for some time now. And a little past nowhere, and just before we reach absolute isolation, we are in the middle of our own little western travel scene.
You got me acting out. All tenderness is out the window. What you do to me when the cold bites blue is straight cool. Oh, it has to be you leaving writings on the wall. Promise me roses and a hungry haze, but now there's only madness. Got me feeling dusty. a dream, the worst kind you've ever dreamed. Don't wanna lay another night here. Don't wanna walk another mile. I just can't. Please don't make me do it. I got too much to lose. I've got too much to lose.
We got her in the spot, and now it's time to go ahead and get set up. Pulling in and getting set up after a long travel day is bar none one of the best feelings of travel weekends. And for the last touch, it's time to put up the Starlink and take a good view of our new scenery. And I gotta say, I'm kinda digging this little town called Cody. So finally got set up, and we actually found this spot over on RV Life. I know if you've been following this channel for a while, we talk about hip camp a lot, but this is not one of our hip camp locations. This is a RV Life spot. It's just an app you can download, and you can check all the resorts here. You guys probably already know that. And this is the Mountain View RV Resort out near Yellowstone National Park, which honestly isn't too bad. They have a wedding going on back over here somewhere, but it's getting close to sunset, or the sun just set, and it is absolutely gorgeous, man. It is a beautiful time to be out and doing everything. It's probably, I don't know, what, 65 degrees or so, a slight breeze. Can't ask for much more than that. There is nothing more than I love than a good set of ribs, and there's probably nothing that you can't sell me that doesn't involve ribs. It has been a day, and it's been I would say a good day. Nothing broke, everything got here in one piece, and Jess and I are both worn out. So I think with that, we're gonna go ahead and go to bed. We got a big day tomorrow at Yellowstone. I cannot wait to go see this place. Oh man, it's like one of the bucket lists that's gonna be checked off. So we're gonna go ahead and get some rest. We're getting up early in the morning, and we'll see you tomorrow bright and early. The wedding went on until around midnight, but Jess and I didn't even notice. We were so exhausted, we slept right through it all, but I wish I would have stayed up to catch the stars underneath this wide open landscape on a late summer night. But with the alarm set pretty early, we're gonna need all the rest we can get. 6 a.m. rolls around, and it is time to get moving. The day we have all been waiting for is finally here. It's time for Yellowstone. You gonna drive for me today?
Yes.
From our hip camp, it's about an hour and a half to get to our first stop of the day. From the east entrance, we climb up to about 8,000 feet and drive over a pass before eventually getting to see our first glimpse of Yellowstone Lake. And after passing the lake, we turn off to go see one of the most famous landmarks of the park, the waterfall. So we're gonna go check out the Artist Point, which I heard this is like the little mini Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone Park, so. The Grand Canyon of Yellowstone is what they call this place, and it definitely lives up to the name. But I would say about 20 to 30 minutes is all that is needed here, as it gets crowded pretty quickly. Hi Jess, what you think?
The waterfall, honestly, I'm surprised by how much water there is because everything seems so dry out here.
Yeah, a little on the drier side of the climate, but it doesn't mean it affected the waterfall any. Since we lost service in the park, we need to get to our next spot by a paper map. And shortly after, Jess was cut off by another car. And well... Why?
Why they stupid? I don't know.
Why is that a test though? Like, how's this a test?
It ain't no test because that's how I know that you're just incapable.
Of what?
The incompetency of like being able to.
It was just a four-way stop.
And you don't know who's supposed to go? Like, woo!
Our next stop is about an hour north, which kind of gives you a sense of scale here in Yellowstone. And on the way, we spot a lone bison just enjoying some solitude. And right after that one, we caught one of those magical moments of a roadside bison who was just happy to have the best grazing area, which wasn't too far from our stop at the Mammoth Hot Springs. So we are at Mammoth Hot Springs, and get here early, bro. Like, it is, parking's kind of hard to find. We lucked up and found a little in spot there though, but this one's gonna involve a little bit more walking than the last spot. I'm gonna convince Jess to get a sun hoodie before the day's out. She's already seen the benefits. She's just been a little shy. That's all. Mammoth Hot Springs wasn't necessarily our favorite, but I'm sure in its heyday it was a poppin' place. But today it just seemed like a smelly, steamy, leaky pile of rocks. Sorry to all my geothermal nerds out there. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool though.
Why does it smell?
Jess,
I'm
don't.
curious. It has like a particular.
It's shy, and you can't be asking these questions.
Smell.
It's not ladylike to be asking these kind of questions.
First of all, it ain't ladylike to smell like that either.
What's going on up here, girl? You left me.
You're fake.
Huh?
You're fake.
How am I fake?
You were mocking me.
I was not mocking
Yeah,
you.
you were.
I was just being a tourist.
Don't lie to the people.
In the same sense that you were being a tourist.
Nah, don't lie. You lie to the people.
2, 1. Click, click. See what hole?
That one right there.
That one?
That one right there. Well, what are the holes you see?
Is that where the lava is gonna come out?
That's where it's gonna come out.
Did you come back out?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Come back out here?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. On to our last stop of the day, and one thing I quickly figured out was that Yellowstone is a bit too much to tame in one day. When you visit, plan at least 2 to 4 days to have enough time to see everything. We passed by a few steaming features along the way because we simply didn't have enough time to stop by. When we finally pull into our last stop, we find this restaurant which caught our hungry attention and decided to give it a go. We got the Hunger Buster chocolate chip cookie, and Jess knows the Otis Spunkmeyer blueberry muffin. Fries, chicken tenders for me, and Jess got the burger with, what is that? Is that just like vegetables?
Yep. Hey Trey, how was your dining experience?
Sucked. Sucked. Worst, like bottom 10 experience. We paid like $45 for 3 chicken strips, small fry, a burger, a dry cookie, and
My burger was still cold. Like the
Yeah.
cheese wasn't even melted.
like it wasn't even like a warmed up
But I
nice
was so
burger. Like it was
hungry, I
just
ate it.
it was a chicken burger. Like it was just a chicken sandwich. That's all it was. But if you can get reservations at the inn, please do. I don't even. It wasn't noteworthy, so I don't even remember the name of that diner. But avoid it at all costs. Jess, if you get this hat, just know I have to take you to a local bar and I have to take you to a rodeo. Like, I advise this one, you know, something more cool and aesthetic, but she chose the Wrangler edition. Just out here getting complimented by these cashiers, man. These little elderly men. But what do you say?
He said that I am a very beautiful girl and that I made his whole night.
Yeah. And she got the hat, by the way. She did end up going with the hat, so
And I'm
guys,
gonna wear it every single
go
day.
ahead and pick on her about that. And finally, our last spot, which you might have heard of before. To see Old Faithful for the first time ever. Jess, how long do you think it's gonna take to explode?
It is 7:45, maybe another 15 minutes.
7:45? I give it 7:55.
Okay.
You don't think so?
We'll see.
When was the last time it erupted?
I don't know.
You know, it's like 6:20 something they expected?
Something like that.
Alright, okay. Yeah. I was surprised mainly at how many people came out to watch the Old Faithful erupt. I mean, it was an absolute full house. Chess, you think it's gonna come? You think it's gonna come? We've been waiting, what, 20-25 minutes?
About.
We ended up waiting another 30 minutes, and after seeing a few people call it quits and leave, we were starting to lose a little faith as well. But as they say, patience is a virtue, because shortly after the crowds thinned out, we got what we came for. It finally made it. So it went boom.
It went. It didn't go boom. It went.
And now it's time to get out of here.
Yes.
It's time to go back home because Kenai's probably mad at us.
Kina and Boca.
And this nice guy right here, he took a picture of us and he airdropped it to us.
He did.
With a 2-hour drive back home, we both had a chance to reflect on a day and how much driving we did compared to actually stopping to see things. And really, we only stopped to see 3 spots, which was the waterfall, the Mammoth Hot Springs, and then the Old Faithful Geyser. And when I say this park is huge, I really do mean it. It takes about 2.5 to 3 hours just to drive straight through the park itself. When we got back, we didn't waste any time to wash up and get to bed, because in the morning, we have to pack it all up and head down to a place in Idaho called Swan Valley, which is where we'll be staying at for the next 2 weeks. Today, we slept in and took our time getting up as we're both exhausted, but around 9 or so, we finally get moving as checkout time is at 11.
Okay.
Today's drive includes driving back through Yellowstone and getting a sneak peek of the Tetons as we start heading south. In Cody, Wyoming, will remain one of those beautiful hidden gems for us, as Jess and I both firmly believe this is a place we could call home one day. And today would be easy enough as just driving a couple of hours and getting there. But we have to take the rig over a pass at 8,000 feet, which we have never attempted before. When I first saw this, I tried to reroute, but the other option tacks on quite a few hours to our trip. Stopping to check everything real quick, because we're about to head up to 8,500 feet with Appa and Bluebird attached for the first time ever. And I'm not nervous, but I'm a little curious on how this is gonna go. And when we pull up to the ranger station, we see where something tall hit the structure of the roof, and it only added a little more stress to the situation.
That was a Cisco truck that,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, with the big boxes.
we actually came in yesterday, and I saw it. I was like, man, I think we gotta come. We're just coming to pass through Grand Tetons, but I don't know if we're gonna make it.
No, you did great. Nicely done. May I see your ID?
Yeah.
And would you like a map or do you still have one?
We still have it. Yes, ma'am. But with a little luck and throwing in a manual up the pass, we cruised up to 8,300 feet like a champ. To celebrate, as we came down the pass, we stopped by the lake for a second to let the brakes cool down and, you know, do what we do best, stop for a photo op. This spot was perfect because it was a pull-off spot just a bit larger than the rig, which allowed just us to park there. As we left Yellowstone and entered what I can only describe as one of the most beautiful mountain ranges I have ever seen. I've seen many photos of the Grand Tetons, but truly, nothing really does do it justice. This is kind of wild. You have the bison on one side, and then you have the Grand Tetons on the other. This is one of the most beautiful spots I've seen. And driving through it with our rig will live on in my memories forever. We finally arrived.
Hey.
That's it.
Nice to meet you, I'm Scott.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Let me show you what's happening first.
Okay.
As you're going into our overflow spot.
About an hour later, we finally arrive at our home for the next 2 weeks, down in a sleepy small town of Swan Valley, Idaho, where the nearest supermarket is an hour and some change away, and the elevation is just over 5,000 feet. And fortunately, we have made it all in one piece and can finally settle in for a bit, which seems like yesterday morning, we were just taking off from Washington and heading for our overnight stay at the rest stop. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this weekend. And if you're new here and felt more like a passenger, feel free to give a subscribe to keep up with all of our journeys, as we have a new one for you every single Sunday.